Hello everyone, I hope you had a great and excellent end to the old year and an even greater beginning to the new year. And I hope you had fun because this year, with all the energy uncertainty out there, we might not get to have much fun except with the warm winter. But anyway, I'm not here to talk to you about the warm winter, lucky as it turned out to be for all of us in Europe. I'm here to talk about something of grave importance and grave danger as well. I'm here to talk about emissions, and more specifically, Scope 3 emissions. Why Scope 3? Because we are all emitters of Scope 3 emissions. Scope 3 emissions are the ones that are generated through the use of products made by the oil and gas industry. So every driver is a Scope 3 emitter. Every wearer of synthetic fiber is a Scope 3 emitter too, because synthetic fibers, as we all know, are products of the petrochemical industry. Recently, as some of you may know, but most of you wouldn't, because who cares? There's been growing pressure on the oil industry to start doing something about Scope 3 emissions. I mean, Scope 1 is what the companies themselves emit while they produce their disgusting products, but Scope 3 is what the users of these products generate, and responsible people who care about the environment and the climate have started pressuring oil companies to do something about Scope 3 emissions. Now, effectively, this means that oil companies more or less need to track us all who use their products, which is, well nigh impossible, because the only way you can do it is by, inserting a chip into people, and this chip registering how often they fill up their tanks, or how often they buy new synthetic clothes. I don't know, but I have an idea. And this idea has nothing to do with tracking, but it has everything to do with raising awareness of Scope 3 emissions and encouraging people to emit less. It's just a start, it's not a comprehensive strategy yet. But I call it the two-stage strategy. And I have chosen to locate it one of the places where most of the obvious Scope 3 emissions begin, petrol stations. So here's how I see it. Now, normally, these days, when I go to the petrol station, I stop the car at the pump, I say hello, fill it up with A95, thank you, and I go inside to pay. And the pump operator, if that's what these lovely people are called, because they are lovely, the pump operator normally just says hello, okay, or doesn't say anything, just nods and gets to work. But my strategy sees things differently. My strategy sees these pump operators as awareness raisers. So, for example, in the future, where Scope 3 emissions are being tackled, I see this conversation going a little bit differently. So I go to the petrol station, stop the car, get out, say hello, could you fill it up with A95 please? To which, in my strategy, the pump operator would not say okay or he or she would say, are you sure you want to fill the tank of your vehicle with fossil fuel? To which I'd probably say, yes, it's a car, it runs on fossil fuel, thank you. To which the pump operator could say something like this: have you considered alternative modes of transportation, such as cycling or public transport? We have really regular bus service, and all our buses are minimum emission, and we're working on making them zero emission by replacing them with new electric ones. Or perhaps ride sharing is the option for you, because this way there is a lower emission generation from transport. And I don't know if you're familiar with these facts, but transportation is one of the biggest emitters globally, and we need to do something about this. Because did you see last winter? Did you see how warm it was? This is all because of Scope 3 emissions. To which I'd probably say nothing, at least not aloud, and move on to pay for the petrol that I will make this person put in my tank. And this is where the second stage will begin. Because normally, again, people go in, pay, maybe buy a snack or something, say buy and leave. And I imagine me saying, pump 5 and could I have a sausage roll, please? To which, in my strategy, the lady behind the counter, who is another awareness raiser, would say something like, that will be 83.57, but I'm afraid I can't sell you a sausage roll. Which will probably confuse me, and I'll ask why. To which she could say something like, it's part of our new corporate policy of reducing Scope 3 emissions, and the central tenet of this policy is to try and discourage our clients from using fossil fuels. This way we could reduce our Scope 3 emissions, and we all work for greener, better planet with better climate, with a healthier climate. So I cannot sell you a sausage roll or indeed anything else that is not petrol or diesel or possibly gas if your car uses gas. To which I'd probably say, love you, and pay and leave. But this is just the start, I think this awareness raising is really important. You must know it from all the awareness raising campaigns for this and that. And the third thing, we could expand this to shops that sell clothes, because there's so much synthetic fiber out there, and so many people inadvertently emitting carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. So we could put awareness raisers in these shops, and they can be lurking by the racks with the synthetic, say, windbreakers or something. The moment they spot a client looking at windbreakers, they could start the speech that I just gave you. Pretty much the same as the speech at the petrol station, except, of course, it had to be tweaked to focus on synthetic fibers. It could go something like this. Excuse me, sir, madam, miss, or unidentifiable. Are you sure you want to buy this windbreaker? Yeah. Wouldn't you like to instead look at alternative outfits, such as a leather jacket, perhaps, or a woolen jacket, if they still make them? To which the person, if they're environmentally conscious in the modern way, will say, no, I don't want to wear any animal products. I want to buy a synthetic fiber windbreaker because I care about animals. To which the awareness raiser would get a chance to really, mess this person up. Are you aware, he or she might say, that these windbreakers are made from synthetic fiber, and synthetic fibers are made by petrochemical companies? Do you know what the carbon footprint is of petrochemical companies? They can throw in some figures, because figures are really always very impressive. And they can continue until the client is discouraged and does not buy windbreakers. Now that I say it, I think this will be a great job opportunity for me. I would be the best awareness raiser about oil companies and petrochemical companies and their carbon footprint. And you know what? I think this strategy could work if there's enough people willing to do this highly responsible job of raising awareness of just how bad Scope 3 emissions are. Just think about all the petrol stations across the globe, and all the clothes shops. It's endless possibilities. And all these people who will lose their jobs because so many petrol stations will probably close down over time, they could have a job as awareness raisers. The future is bright. And with that, I leave you and have a great week. I'll see you hopefully next week.